Hey you! I'm so glad you're here today. Today I'm sharing with you my June plan with me. Last month I actually talked about how I was merging my spiritual bullet journal and my daily planner into one, and I have a little update for you. I have actually been really enjoying putting the two together. I feel like I have less to carry and less to keep track of. Putting them together has made me feel more connected to my daily life and to my spiritual life. It's helping me blend the two together and actually create a more cohesive and holistic view of how I travel through my day from when I wake up, get ready, and actually go through my self-care, go through the day and work, do other social activities, and then as I travel through the end of my day, wrapping it up with a little bit more self-care practices, and then winding down for the evening and getting ready to go to bed and then wake up and start all over the next day. It's creating a more in sync and in tune view with how I want to live my life. It's also reminded me in an automatic, subtle way to practice my spirituality because it's all in the same place. So every time I pick up this journal, I see that I have my spiritual journal with me and I've got my daily planner, and I just start to think about all of the practices that I have written down into this book that I have been tracking and that I actually am wanting to do. So it reminds me to GSD not only in my work life but also in my spiritual life. So let's go ahead and get into this June daily planner and spiritual bullet journal plan with me. It's finally June, and I am actually really excited for my birthday month this year. I'm surprised. This month's theme for the 6th moon is Savor Sweetness. The flowers that I'm doodling this month are cornflower, I think. Or maybe it's a variation of bachelor's button. I'm not sure. It's a little flower that you can see along the roadside in the Midwest. And it's actually one of my favorite wildflowers. Last month I really enjoyed putting my spiritual bullet journal and my daily planner together. And I'm going to do that again this month. Now I have my Letters to the Universe spread. And also I have a little spread for the summer solstice. Not only do I do 30-day goal setting, but I also do goal setting 8 times a year that coincide with the change of the season, and that's what this page is. Here you can see I was inspired by the little label makers. I've been wanting one for years and I was just dying to get one, and instead of just buying one immediately, I decided to just let it sit, sleep on it a little bit. I ended up doing my headings inspired by the label maker. And instead of going out and just buying something, I just used what I had. I happen to have clear address labels that you can print your address on. So that's what I did. I just colored in the label sheets black, and then I wrote in a white jelly roll my labels and then just cut them out. I did some watercoloring ahead of time, and that little orange tail that you see is Zoya. We don't see her too much in these videos, but she was definitely chilling with me today. And I think later on you'll even see our black cat, Olena, make an appearance. This is my new moon beginning spread. I have 3 columns here, which say to have, to do, and to be. And this next page is where I do my lunar goal setting for the month. This is slightly different from what I normally do. I was inspired by a lunar journal that I saw on Pinterest. Here I'm creating the 4 sections, and in the middle I have a moon and a sun doodle, and the theme for this moon is Savor Sweetness. And in each of the sections I have I am, I can, I've done, and I will. And I'll be thinking about these prompts when I do my 6th moon lunar goal setting video, which is coming up next. Now I'm working on my big lunar month spread. This is a circular layout that has every single day of the lunar phase, and I'm just filling in these little wildflowers right now. Alright, now that I have my lunar month actually all drawn out and decorated, I'm turning these into Dutch doors, and I'm just cutting out the excess off of the edge of the page. And on the left side, I have my full moon check-in and my 6th moon intention. And I waited to fill these in so I could actually see them after I cut out my Dutch doors for the lunar month. And now on the outside of one of the Dutch doors, I have a little journaling prompt of the things that I am most excited for the month and that I'm looking forward to. And on the back side of my lunar month Dutch doors, I have my 6th moon review, which I do at every balsamic moon, which is the last crescent moon of the lunar month, or I do it actually at the end of the lunar phase. It just depends on my schedule and how busy I am. So what I ask myself for the lunar review each month is what worked, what didn't, and what can I improve. And now I'm just filling in the back side of the Dutch door with those little wildflower doodles. And there you can see Elena, that little black splotch up at the top. Elena absolutely loves my watercolors, and I think that's because she likes to steal my water whenever I have a glass sitting out. She'll dip her little paw in and try and get her head in there and drink from my water. So you'll see me pushing her aside a couple of times to get her away from the watercolors to make sure that she doesn't get into them. But she's always excited whenever I get my watercolor palette out. This section is my daily planner section. This is the same setup that I had last month. It's really simple. I have a Dutch door layout for this daily planner. I do 1 week on each side of the Dutch doors. It helps me because I can see 2 weeks at a time. And then I also have on the left side a quote, and then also space for some notes or for some important things that I need to make sure that I don't forget for the month. And then on the right side, I have my focus for the month, my goals, and anything that's upcoming for the month that I need to pay attention to. Now I'm just creating those little labels again. I'm making a tab for the last page on my daily spread that has my master to-do list. Last month I didn't really use the master to-do list the way I had it laid out, so I wanted to try something a little different this month, and I think I didn't use it because I couldn't see it. So in this layout I'll actually be able to see my master task list because I have the little tabs here. Here I have a section for notes and then also any of those work tasks. And on the back side of this page, I have my personal to-dos and then also any creative projects that I want to do. My journal was feeling a little plain at this point, so I decided to do some little impromptu watercolor clouds that are in the colors of my sticky note system. If you want a video on my sticky note system for how I keep on top of the 3 pillars of my life, which are Owls and Indigo, my personal life, and then also my work life, let me know in the comments down below. And now I'm working on my very last page, or my very last spread of the month, which is Unravel Your Month. And my words this year are flux and flow. And underneath here, I'll actually have a section where I write out my monthly journaling prompt, which I'm going to tell you about in just a few minutes. The questions that I ask myself at the end of the month are, what am I grateful for most? How did I challenge myself? And what did I learn? And now I'm just going back through and actually covering up some of the headings that I did. I felt like it pulled it together a little better to have a few more of the headings match. And now I'm going back in and fixing all of the things that I didn't end up liking at the end of my journaling. My quote for this month is, "Like the moon, I go through phases." Here I'm darkening the tabs in my daily planner. I wasn't thinking, and I ended up using a marker that after the fact I knew would bleed through the page very much, but for some reason it just didn't occur to me when I reached for this marker. I just knew that it was the darkest one that I had, and that's what I grabbed for. But when I flipped the page back, I noticed how much it bled, and it didn't actually look bad. What it reminded me of was like a grungy 90s vibe, so I actually really enjoyed that. And now I'm just going back through and adding some more of the marker bleeding through the pages, giving me this grungy vibe. Before we get into the final flip through, let's talk about this month's spirituality journaling prompt. What connects you to your spirituality? Last month we talked about what does spirituality mean to you, and this month I'd like you to reflect on what connects you to your spirituality. For me, there are 3 things that come to mind that help connect me to my spirituality. That is self-care, which helps me practice compassion for myself and helps me practice compassion for others. The second thing is scent, which I use to transform my space and to get myself into the right headspace when it comes to spirituality and being in the moment, and also just in my normal life, my normal everyday life. The third thing is mindfulness, which helps me consciously shift my mindset and my viewpoint and the lens through which I'm viewing the current situation into a different view. That can be shifting my mindset to the views that I strive to have, and also pulling me out of those negative mindsets that sometimes we just automatically fall into. And it helps me to reset the view of my world. So what connects you to your spirituality? Is it practices, or is it little triggers that go throughout your day, or is it even goal setting? I can't wait to see what connects you to your spirituality. You can catch me on Instagram at owlsandindigo, which is where I'm at most, or you can catch me over on my website, owlsandindigo.com, where I share my weekly spirituality tip, writing and journaling prompts, little tidbits about the moon and how to move through the lunar phase to help you with your goal setting, also mental health awareness, and my story. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. I'm so grateful that you chose to spend your time here with me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!